Hey guys, and welcome to part 2 of my logo design process for the Space Challenge. So on the previous episode, I've showed you how I started my process by creating a brief, collecting visual reference, and starting to sketch. So I've been spending the last few days sketching ideas here and there, dedicating 30 minutes to 1 hour every time to trying to kind of jot down ideas in my sketchbook. Today, I want to show you what I have so far and take those sketches into Illustrator to start the actual design process. I don't have much time for this project as it is like not a paying customer, it's just a challenge. So I'm going to try and finish everything today. I've got around 2 hours for this session. I'm going to try to design at least 1 or 2 concepts to see which one I like better, and then later on do all of the kind of mock-ups to see how it will look like in real life. So let me get started by kind of sharing with you the references that I collected, because once I started with sketching, I got new ideas for visual reference. So those are basically the references that I had when I just started. So outer space, kind of the references that Dan told that are relevant to the brand. But then I got some more ideas. I started looking at kind of the moon cycle, how the moon changes over time. I thought those shapes might be interesting. I started looking at the solar system and how those representations of kind of like the stars going around in circular orbits, which is interesting. Kind of looking at the zodiac shapes, maybe I could do something with them. Looking at star maps, how the dots are connected. So those were some new concepts that I was looking at to give me some new ideas. So let me show you in my sketchbook what I got started with. So basically, yeah, so these are the first sketches. As you can see, they're not super good. One of the first ideas that I had was kind of try to do something like a comics speed line and connect the E and the D. I thought maybe this will create something interesting. But then I actually saw that if I put the E and the D closer together, it might create a kind of a spaceship in the empty space, kind of like in the FedEx logo where it creates, the arrow. Maybe I can do some kind of spaceship over there. So that might turn out into something more interesting when I'll explore this in Illustrator. Those were some ideas, kind of creating fast forward or a spaceship out of the A. It's kind of cliche ideas, and I think many people try to go in that direction. Then I started to try to do something with the stars, because they're kind of like arbitrary in the sky with different shapes. Maybe I'll do something like that, but I don't know, it didn't feel right. Then looking at the kind of solar system circular orbits, I thought maybe I can do something around that area, or kind of draw the solar system in that way. Not really sure about that. Then I try to create kind of a star map of the sky, but this actually looks very much like NASA, so I'm not going to go in that direction. But here's what I kind of got to that I pretty much like. It's kind of like every letter is a star in the space, because I think like the word space is kind of like, it gives you the feeling of space expanding, and it's like very far apart. So maybe if the letters are far apart and each one of them has kind of the orbit on its own, so every time the logo might be different, I think this will be a cool idea for a dynamic logo. I'll check that out for sure. And then I don't know, yeah, some more ideas of spacing them with kind of circular lines. I'm not sure. So I'm not really in love with any concept at the moment, and that's true that I didn't dedicate too much time to this because this is not a paid project, but this actually also might happen with real client projects. You put in the effort, you sketch some ideas, and nothing amazing comes up. But I have to deliver on the deadline, which is also true for the real project. And so I will take this into Illustrator and start playing with this right now. Sometimes the magic happens in Illustrator, so let's give it a try. All right, so let's see where we are 2 hours later. So I took this into Illustrator, and my first step was to look for fonts that I thought would be proper. So some of those I've had on my computer, and some of them I found on typography and fonts websites. And then I just started on the first idea, which was kind of to create the speed element or the spaceship element within the E and the D. So I started playing with this, playing with the shapes, and then I kind of saw that when I'm doing the light line with like two dots or something, this looks more like a spaceship or a missile or something like this. So I kept trying and trying, but actually after kind of like dropping it to one point and turning this around, I said, hey, this is actually quite a cute alien. So I wasn't like looking for this in the first place, but it was kind of like a nice idea that just popped in while I was playing with this. So I thought, yeah, I like this. This can be like an okay logo. This can be decent. And then I said, okay, I'll put this aside and I'll go try the different direction, which was kind of these lines that I wanted to take the letters randomly according to like solar orbits or something like this. But obviously pretty quickly I saw that this will not work out as a logo. It was kind of like cool idea technically, theoretically, to create a dynamic logo, but this doesn't really look good. So I said, okay, I'll give a little bit more work to this idea here that I came to, because I wasn't really sure about the shapes here. I wasn't like really cool. So I said, let's try and look for different fonts. And then I found online this font called Aquawax, which had like really cool shapes that are like part like sharp and part like a little bit round corners, and I thought this looked like technical, spacey, and this can be good. So I tried like playing around with the same idea to recreate the logo with a different font, but then I saw like, hey, wait, when I'm actually moving the dot to the C, this actually looks like more like a space helmet or an alien more than the D actually. So this is actually a pretty cool shape. I really love this as an icon. And so it turned out that I didn't have to do anything. I only had to add this little circle inside the C to create this kind of alien-y spacesuit icon inside of the C. And this is like, I'm like, this is so simple. I didn't actually had to do anything. Just find the right font, add the little detail inside. And this, I think, there's this question, I didn't do much, so is this a good logo? But I really think that if it's simple and it works and it sends the right message, I think this actually works pretty well. And so I think I'm going to go with this. If I had more time, I'd probably keep playing around with this for hours and it would probably improve. But, there's a deadline and there's a budget, and this is what I can spend on this project. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to use this logo and try to put it on some mockups and see how it works in real life. The reason that I'm always trying to see how this would work as an icon, and I will test this with every logo, because in the world that we live today, you cannot, with social networks and everything, have to be like a thumbnail. You cannot create a logo that doesn't work in the rectangular shape of a profile picture, because that would actually make your logo useless. So every logo, I'm testing it as an icon to see that it works. This one works well. And so I'm gonna take a lunch break now. I'm gonna meet some designer friends for lunch, talk some design stuff, and then come back and try to finish this project out.
Not bad. What an epic lunch. Back to work now.
So I threw up some mock-ups to show how the logo would work in different contexts. Usually I would do a lot of them, but today, since I'm very limited on time, I just a few of them. Let me show you how they turned out. So just put the logo on the moon to kind of put it in context. put it on a spacesuit. I saw a lot of people are putting their logo on the SpaceX suit, but I know it's just a silly contest, but in real life, you never want to demonstrate kind of your client's logo on their competitor's product. So I was wasting kind of a lot of time to try to find a different suit that would look cool, as if Nike designed it, and this is what I came up with. Then demonstrated on the spaceship. Again, I didn't want to use the SpaceX spaceship, so I find this one that it's just kind of a concept art that Lexus designed, and so I slapped the logo over here. And this is not very beautiful, but I think it will be very cool in the presentation to kind of show how the logo is being created when the kind of the alien guy comes up on top of it. I think it's going to be really cool. And so tomorrow I'm going to be working on the presentation, pitch presentation, because I hope you guys know that designing the logo is barely like 50% of the job. Then you actually have to go out and sell it. And that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you tomorrow with the final presentation of this logo challenge. Have a great day, guys.